Jesus was like my mother. Okay, maybe I should reframe that. My mother was maybe like Jesus. I'm in the middle of Book of John. I've been doing this for a while now. I take a book and I go very, very, very slow. And I might want to use a few more varies because it is September and I am still in the Book of John and I'm not going to get done. It took me all last year to get through Mark. But what I love about it, it's a slow walk down a beautiful lane. Something happens when you read a book slow and when you process it. When you really just truly read the book really slow and process it. I mean, think about it and then apply it to today and then think about it some more. And then how can I live it? I don't like to just read something and close the book. I like to really maybe mull it over, maybe chew it up a bunch of times. Somebody somewhere I read in a book, which is dangerous, said that you should chew your food 35 times before you swallow it. And I'm going, no, wait a minute. How do you do that with a smoothie? And then I thought, well, that's a good way to look at really reading the Bible. Don't just chew it and swallow it, but chew it and chew it and chew it. So that's kind of what I like to do when I study. So anyway, now getting back to my mother and Jesus. Verse 5 tells us that Jesus looked around at a large crowd gathering and said to Philip, "What's for lunch?" Okay, true, Jesus didn't really say that, but he did ask, where are we going to get enough food for all these people? So Philip was thinking about it. Now we enter my mother. Where two or more are gathered in my name is a Bible verse, but it also meant if two or three were gathered, my mother was going to feed them. We grew up knowing there was always an extra table at the extra plate at the table. That Sunday we'd always have company come, and it didn't matter if there wasn't enough food because it suddenly just became more food. Well, Jesus asked the wrong person that question. He should have asked my mother or Dorothy Nelson or Charlotte Fagan or any of the other women in my world that really knew hospitality involved food. Now, we understood. We didn't even think about it. Sunday dinner meant company. And I'm really sure my mother didn't know who was coming to church or how many were coming to eat, but there was always enough food and there was always enough plates. So Jesus asked Philip, and Philip answered with a guy's answer. Okay, he didn't really, but I'm paraphrasing. I didn't bring the checkbook, and there's no ATM machine close by. Now, the Bible goes on to say that Jesus was asking questions because he knew what he was going to do. Okay, there's my mother, exactly. She would phrase a question to us and already have the answer in the back of her mind that she knew was going to be action, like, who is going to clean up this mess? It wasn't going to be her. I wonder who will mow the lawn today. Really wasn't a question. She didn't really ask a question. She knew what Jesus was knowing and doing. Testing Philip. My mother was testing us. And yes, we almost always cleaned up our messes and we almost always mowed the lawn. I really wonder how many miracles of Jesus I miss because I'm caught up in the testing phrase and I'm just staying there till Philip was caught in the question. Andrew was caught looking for the answer. He went and found a bag of food. A kid had a bag of food. He brought the food to Jesus, and of course we all know the rest of the story. You know, I really want to be like Andrew when I grow up. I want to look for answers, not just get stuck in the question. Now, Philip was probably still trying to figure out what it meant while Jesus was making everyone sit down and begin to pass out the food. I really pray that I can always look for the answer and not get caught up in trying to figure out how many nuances of the question are there. And I'm proud to say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I can get a meal together with very little warning. I can feed a bunch and leave them happy and content. Of course, we all understand that fresh chocolate chip cookies count as a meal, don't they?